So what is Sunday lunch without Callaloo? Come and see how others make mine. Hey everybody, so my name is Chrisal Martin and I am here to show you how I just make my Callaloo. Now Callaloo is something that everybody makes differently and that's fine. For me, it is like the quintessential dish on a Sunday lunch. I just need to have my Lulu and I need to have it extra slimy, so we have plenty okras here. So come stick with us, join me and see how we go and make this thing. Right guys, so we're going and make Callaloo and I must give some props off to my producer. His nice skills are amazing. Look at this. I don't even shred my Callaloo this finely. So we have the Callaloo bush. We have the stalk of the Callaloo, which I would recommend you peeling off that outer layer. It makes a difference. We have pumpkin here, or you could use squash if you want it a little sweeter. Your usual onions, garlic, we didn't get no celery, unfortunately. Pimento, and I know some people may be like, what is this? This is ginger. Yes, I know. I put a little ginger in my Callaloo. It tastes good, right? So I think we're going to start. We have here Cuisine 100% soybean oil on a medium fire. So we're just gonna pour some oil in. Yeah. And if you have some salted butter, you could use that as well. Now for me, Callaloo is just like I said before, I need to have Callaloo on a Sunday lunch. Sometimes if my mother don't make it, I'll be like, oh, mommy, where the Callaloo? But for me, if I just get Callaloo rice and stew chicken, I real good. So we're going to start adding in, let me just, yes, the oil is heated because actually it's a lot heated, you see that smoke, right? So you're going to add in the onions and some garlic, but we're not going to use all of the garlic. There's a little trick that I saw when I went by a friend of mine. Her mom was making bhaji and she reserved some of the garlic to use at the ending, and you got that nice garlic fragrance. Add in some pimento. And right, so I'll let this saute for a little while. Make sure that the onions turn a little translucent. And you have to man this process. You don't want this to burn at any point. And I am all for seasoning every layer. So I'm going to season this a little bit with salt. Right, now, so let me tell you a story. The first time I made Callaloo, oh my God, disaster. I did not add enough okras, so it had this kind of weird consistency. My friend tasted it and she said it tasted good, but to this day, I think she lied. She was just being a good friend. So whenever I make Callaloo now, I always have that in the back of my mind and I always add extra okras. So here I think we have 8 large okras. You could go 8 to 10 if you want. The slimier the better. That's for me, right? I'm just gonna add a little bit of pepper. And I just love how the beginning of the pot does sound. And by that I mean, not sound, smell. By that I mean the onions, the garlic, the pimento. We didn't have any celery, but that's okay. It just smells so good. I think my pot could use just a little bit more oil. So I'll do that now. Throw those in. Make sure that cooks a little bit. I have so many nice memories growing up with Callaloo. Now, my grandmother, she's not alive anymore. She died a couple years ago. She was a meticulous cook. Like, you all know the Callaloo bush, right? You have the stalk, you have the leaf. She would cut off the stalk, skin it, and then chop it up, yes. But then the leaves, she would not even, she would like take out the ribs. She will not have the ribs of the leaves. So she will actually take out the leaves and then chop it up fine. Ain't nobody got time for that, right? But that's how the old people and them used to do it. And then I have an aunt who we call her the Callaloo specialist. Her callaloo just tastes so good. It have a nice kind of a, I don't want to say pastel green, but I think it depends on how much coconut milk she uses. So it has a nice kind of color. I don't like my callaloo too dark green. But at the end of the day, it really does not matter. It's however you make it and however you like it. Yeah? So I'm just going to let this saute a little bit. And then at this point, I'm going to add in. Now, don't be fooled. You know what they say, boil long like bhaji? It's always look plenty, but this is going to boil long to nothing. So we're going to add this in. Stirring as we go. And what the producer was telling me, which is a very good point, the finer you chop the bush is the easier it takes to melt down and to cook, which makes a lot of sense. Because you know, if you don't cook callaloo for long enough, you can get that kind of scratchiness and you don't want that. So you're gonna add it in, mix and turn, mix and turn. And I'm getting hungry already. I'm always hungry. Well, I'm a foodie. So I'll just add this in. So I don't know if you guys could see, we have it melted down just a little, which is exactly where I want it. I'm going to add in, let me make sure, this is the ginger. Should have added it in before, but it all going to mix up, which don't matter. So we add that in. I will add the pumpkin in. Listen, this producer real good with these knife cuts, you know, he have patience too, because sometimes I just rough chop everything and just throw it in. And for me, cooking is all about eyeballing. I am not a baker. Baking is more of a science, but cooking is giving you a little bit more freedom. You know what I mean? If you want it to be a little bit sweeter, you could use squash if you like. Some people don't use pumpkin. That's fine. You make the callaloo however. This is how I see my mom do it. So mommy, if you're watching, I hope you're proud of me. I don't know. Listen, my mother doesn't feel like how cook, you know, but I know what it is. Her problem is that she feels that nobody else could do it like her. So I'm adding in these stalks now. And I also had some chive here before. I'm going to just add that in as well. Add in these stalks and almost here. The good thing about callaloo is like a one pot. And what my grandmother used to do as well, she always used to make like a soup. So I guess with that, you would just make it a little thicker. And you add your dumplings or whatever. I didn't too much like the soup, to be honest. I just more like the callaloo with the poured over the rice. All right, so we get in somewhere here. I just want to make sure all of these ingredients are well incorporated. So at this point, we will add the coconut milk. Now, yes, ideally, if you make the coconut milk yourself, hats off to you. My grandmother used to do it. I don't have time for that. Who has time for that? I mean, if you do, that's great. But for now, we're just going to use the pack. And one thing my mother always say is you have to watch how much liquid you're putting in, right? So for me, I'm just putting in enough to cover the top of the ingredients. Right, so we're looking good. What I've left back some of the garlic, which I will add closer to the end. And for now, I will put in some thyme. You could throw it in whole, or you could just like do the leaves like this if you like. If you put it in whole, it's fine, because at the end of the cooking process, you will just be left with the stalk. But as I'm here, I'll just take out some of the leaves. And everything you just basically season to your taste, right? Well, at this point, if you had crab, you throw it in. We ain't get no crab. If you had pigtail, you throw it in. We ain't get no pigtail. So this is a real veggie callaloo, but it will still taste good. But somehow when you add crab to a callaloo, Lord have mercy, you could just taste it, right? So let me see the fire that we're on now. I'm just going to raise the fire just a little, and we're going to cover it. Let this consume for maybe about, for me, I think callaloo needs a good hour to cook properly. So we will cover this. I'll put an eye on it, and I think we'll keep it covered for maybe about 30 minutes, and then we'll check on it. But before we cover, you have to put in your hot pepper. Now I really like how the red hot peppers look. I ain't have the red one. I'll go with the orange and green one. And you want to make sure that you do both. So you put that in and then you cover. Right guys, so an hour later, we back and the bush has melted down nicely. And the pepper, just be careful. Once you do meddle with the pepper won't meddle you. But at this point, I will just take it out for now. Rest it at the side. And everything kind of just really gel. It's gelling and it's smelling good. And here is where I will put like my salt, add some sugar and that kind of thing, right? So just stirring it around. And I know, yes, for most people, yes, blend the callaloo. My mommy started blending it, so... But I think I want to try it with the swizzle stick. And for me, I think this one might be a better go with. So we will do that, right? So I'm going to turn off the fire for now. And I think we're ready. So this is how my grandmother used to do it. She will do it. Wait now, but this is a workout though. I think I bite off one and I can chew. Producer, where the blend? All right, but it coming. Oh my God, this is bringing back such memories. Seeing my grandmother swizzle callaloo. I used to make this kind of noise. I don't know if you hear it. Hear that? So we're doing this. This is a workout though. But I think the older heads will say that they will swizzle it because when you blend it, it gets too fine. And some people like their callaloo chunky. I am more like in between. So I don't want it too chunky. Wow, this is a real workout though. I want it too chunky, but then I don't want it too fine either. So what I'm doing, I'm just kind of pressing down, mashing down, and then swizzling. Mashing and then swizzling it around. And I think we nailed the amount of okras because it has real slime, which is what I like. But my God. I feel like I'm going to the gym. All right, so we're doing this way, which is the real swizzle action. But I sort of wanted to mess up my white shirt, so I do it. But it's actually making a difference though. It just says walk. I added a little bit of salt in it before, but I'll add some more now. And then maybe just a tips of sugar. It's not going to taste sweet, guys. Sugar for me just brings out the natural flavors. And a little black pepper too. Swizzle, swizzle. Oops. But I like how this is coming out though. It's nice and chunky. I think the producer would like it. Right guys, so the producer helped me off camera swizzle. It was a lot of arm action. And in the end, we decided to blend half and then keep the rest chunky. So now we just have the perfect consistency here. Then I just have the remnants of the garlic. I want to make sure I get all of that out. And then I just put back on the fire on low and then just gonna let this marry. But Olia, we're looking good. We're looking good. So let me take off the fire and pour myself some callaloo. Now, if you're like me, I don't always wait for the food to cool. I think my mouth got scalded a couple times and I just get used to it. So yeah. Let me see. Yum. Callaloo. Callaloo, I love you. Oh my gosh. So all I need now is some rice or some cassava. And the good thing about callaloo is that it's a leafy green, so you could get lots of iron and fiber from it. So guys, this is how I do my callaloo. Check out the recipe. If you try it out this way, let us know. If not, you do your callaloo how you want it. It will come out best. Special thanks to Cuisine for sponsoring this episode of Simply Local. Cuisine products could be found at all Massy stores nationwide. So guys, what I think I should eat this callaloo with? Rice, crab and dumpling, what? Tell me, because it's looking real good and I'm hungry.